So I'm Ann Beffel. I'm an artist who lives on Ojibwa lands in the state we call Michigan in the United States. And I make work primarily for spaces engaged by the public, but also for galleries. Spaces that range from urban forests to ground zero in Manhattan. And I arrived at Rama with a phrase, as tangible as the waters running through us and as possible as sky. And I wasn't sure what I would do with that. But when I arrived, I found a lot of hospitality. Paolo was great about showing us the landscape. He took us to the Museum of Art, Architecture, and Technology, and we saw great exhibitions there, as well as amazing work in galleries. And also the studio visits were really helpful, the one we had at the very beginning with Anacleto and Paolo. And they planted very few but really powerful questions that led me, without even realizing it, to start on a path of exploration, to work in a way that's more spontaneous in an extended way. Making public art is spontaneous at the beginning, but it gets very analytical and detail-oriented very quickly. And so working in a really spontaneous way allowed me to experience sustained moments of awe, inspired by the colors here. The light is amazing, and shadows, the architecture, and the landscape. And awe is such a great state to work from because it's spacious enough to contain both fear and joy. And it's a great foundation then, I think, for the rich emotional climate that when we are able to hold that, we can work toward what all of my work intends, which is to create a more attentive and inclusive and an environmentally awake culture. It's a bridge to pro-social behaviors like appreciation and generosity. And I also, as I walked around and looked at the walls that interconnect the village homes and the lands around it, this question of what it means to be held, which is a complicated question about comfort and protection and restraint and creating intimate spaces like the garden. And the garden and the walls really invited me, along with the flora and the cats and the insects, the bees, the light, the fruits, to look at what is often, I think, what I often overlook and what's not seen. And that was a real kernel and heart of the work that I did here, looking within the frame and seeing the whole picture and trying to inhabit that sliver of time before biases and assumptions overwhelm and patterns of behavior kick in, and sometimes defenses. And I understand defenses are necessary in this world now more than ever. We have longstanding wars, and as a member of the LGBTQIA community, I understand, even as a white woman, what it means to have a sense of loving also paired or coupled with threat to me, threat perceived by others who may feel that way. And yet there is that sliver of time where our perceptions are working in this very fluid way to assemble fragments of information, visual information and other sensory information to assemble a whole. And that is a moment of wonder and questioning and unknowing and possibility, when the unexpected can happen. And there are moments, I think, to reclaim that sense of wonder and awe and all of the good things that grow outside of it. And what I will leave here with is a whole new way of working that is incredibly spontaneous and inspired by the world unfolding around me, and a whole body of work that I can go back and sort through many, many photographs and re-experience those moments and look with a critical eye and find where those moments of unknowing exist and inspire us to pay closer attention and perhaps experience a bit of openness as a bridge to a rich and balanced emotional existence that is necessary for feeling connected to things bigger than ourselves, other people, cultures, places. I'm really, really grateful. It was a great privilege to be here, and I hope I can come back to Portugal because it's an incredible place, and Rama is a true gift. So, thank you.